Hey Bryce, how about that fifth cold open?
I believe you mean sixth.
Is it sixth now?
This is sixth.
This is the sixth attempt at recording this video.
My dad called me, my mom called me. I have to call my grandmother. My finger was in the shot. Anyway, how's Super Quantum's doing?
Oh, I love Super Quantums, Bryce. This is my favorite archetype in the game. I'm a huge nerd for stuff like Super Sentai, Power Rangers, Kamen Rider, and that's what this deck is. This is Power Rangers. You make a Megazord and your opponent scoops out of respect. Let's get into the video. We have three of Super Quantal Fairy Alphon, the good rabbit.
We're tired.
We're very tired. Alphon's first effect is pretty neat. You can target another quant you control and make all your monsters that level, which really helps in making some of the exceeds in a pinch. You're not really using it for that effect though, you're using it for its second effect, where it's Lone Fire Blossom on crack. You can attribute it to reveal 3 Super Quant monsters from your deck with different names. Your opponent chooses one at random, it gets summoned, and the other 2 hit the grave. Every Super Quantum monster besides Alphon has an effect when it's summoned and when it hits the grave. So Alphon will always be triggering at least 3 effects. Then going into the actual Rangers, we have Super Quantum Red Layer. This is kind of the big beefy boy. You can special summon it from your hand if you control no monster, so its level 5 isn't really a problem. Its on summon effect is you can get a quantum from your grave back to your hand, and its on grave effect is you can summon one from graveyard but negates effect. So Red Layer kind of always keeps your plays going. And we have Green Layer, who's arguably the worst of them. Once White Layer comes out, I'll probably just play 2 of him. His on summon effect's pretty good. You can just summon another quant from your hand. But his grave effect is pretty lackluster. You just get discard a quant card to draw a card, which you don't ever really want to be doing. 3 Blue Layer, which is probably the best of the quant rangers, because on summon, you're able to search a quant card. Most of the time will be your field spell. Might be Alphon, might be Red Layer, might be the trap card even. You have options. And when it hits the grave, you are able to target up to 3 quant cards in your graveyard and shuffle them back into your deck, so you make sure you always have Rangers to resolve Alphon with. 3 Volcanic Shell. The field spell requires you to discard cards to activate the effect, and you want to be activating that field spell effect 3 times in one turn. So Volcanic Shell makes you neg a lot less. For those of you who don't actually know what this does, if it's in your graveyard, you can pay 500 life points, add another copy of it from your deck to your hand. 3 Lone Fire Blossom. We all know what this means. It means we're also playing 3 Orpha Scorpio, a Cobra, a Trick Clown, and a Garnet, and 1 Brilliant Fusion, which I'll get to in just a second here. That's all the monsters, though. 3 Super Quantal Mech-Ship Magna Carrier. This is your field spell. Its effect is you can discard a card to target a ranger you control, and you can take its respective Exceed monster from the extra deck and place it on top of it. So it turns all your quants into 1 card Exceed monsters, like Boneless Zoo, but not even close to being as good as Zoo is, or was.
They topped a regional.
Super Quants did top a regional, and that's why people started to play Kaijus.
Hashtag OTS10.
Hashtag OTS10. Can we get this in the Rabbit and Super Rare, please? Anyways, its other effect, though, is you can send this card to the graveyard to target 3 Mech Beast Exceed monsters with different names from your field or graveyard and use them to overlay into Great Magnus. So even if you don't have any of the Mech Beasts on field, this card's still live and you can still make Magnus. So if your opponent kills Magnus once, you just get another one of these out, get him right back.
Ever tell you guys about the time I Chaos Trapped hold that spell?
Bryce is bad at the game. So we have 3 Called by the Grave. No hand traps in this deck because this is a purely going first combo deck. So you want to make sure your opponent doesn't hand trap you, and you don't have room for hand traps because combos.
Yeah, man, we gotta make room for Volcanic Shell.
Yeah, no, real talk. Volcanic Shell's a lifesaver in this deck. I see too many people not playing Volcanic Shell. Boys and girls and other people, play Volcanic Shell. It's a good card.
I'm so tired, I'm not even going to make a not even first joke.
Yeah, except you kind of just did.
Fuck.
1 Brilliant Fusion, it's at 1. It's so good. It's so good in this deck. I miss it being at 3 in this deck. 1 Instant Fusion, because
Not even... Oh, I'm too tired.
Because if you already have Brilliant Fusion in hand, you can search this off War for Scorpio instead. Or if you somehow manage to resolve 2 Darlington... I don't know, I'm very tired. Also, the rank you have the hardest time making this deck is 5, so you can go into Raijin with this, either for an offensive play or just to help you make the rank 5. When you teleport... Can we have this at 3, please?
Mm-hmm.
I'd like it at 3.
Yeah, dude. My farm girl would love it.
Blue Layer is a level 3 psychic monster, so you can totally summon off this, and then you can get a search. And once White Layer comes out and the new Link monster, this is a 1-card that Link monster. 1 for 1 because Alphon's level 1. Reasoning because like all the monsters in the deck are different levels, and a lot of them you kind of want in the grave, like your Quantums, your Volcanic Shell, even Trick Clown to some extent.
Did you know Reasoning only has 1 foil printing and it's a gold rare? That is disgusting.
World Legacy Succession because it's a combo deck, you want to be getting pieces back to make your Magnus as much as possible.
Is it Magnuses or Magni?
Magnuses.
I like Magni better.
Yeah, it sounds like the bird magpie, and that's dumb.
I like magpies. You want to fight me? I'll fight you over this magpie.
You like geese, Bryce?
Fuck off. These are assholes.
1 monster reborn, just like Bryce. 1 monster reborn for the same reason as a World Legacy Succession. 1 Foolish Burial because all your quants trigger engrave, and also to set up Volcanic Shell. Upstart Goblin because this deck needs to be as consistent as possible, and there really aren't a whole lot of other cards. Like, you could take out Reasoning.
If you ever did get a super of that, yes, it does come in first.
And for shits and giggles, and because I needed a 40th card, 1 Super Quantal Mech Sword Magnus Slayer.
But Conor, isn't Magnus not affected by this card?
Oh, Bryce, Magnus is not affected by any non-Super Quant cards. And if you look real close, Bryce...
I know, Conor. I figured this out 3 recordings ago.
Bryce, you figured this out on the first recording. That was 5 recordings ago.
I am desperate for sleep.
Anyways, it's a trap card, which sucks because it's basically an equip spell, but you can equip it to a Super Quantic Exceed monster you control. It gains 100 attack times its rank, so typically you're putting it on Magnus, and he's going to gain 1200 attack, which will make him even beefier.
4800 is pretty
4800 is pretty damn big, because that's like the only way he can be killed is by battle for the most part. So...
Damage step?
But also, you can send this card equipped to a monster to the graveyard, and that equipped monster can attack 3 times that turn. So if a Magnus wasn't game enough as is, this makes it extra game. Moving on to the extra deck, we're going to start with the Mech Beasts. We have 2 of each, so we have 2 blue. All the Mech Beasts have the effect where once per turn, you can equip a Super Quant monster from your field or hand it as material. They cannot attack if they don't have any material, and if they have their respective pilot equipped to them, in this case, Blue Later, their effect becomes a quick effect. Grand Pulse's effect is it can pop a spell or trap on the field by detaching a material.
Why is that an ultimate rare? I mean, it's not even first. No, but why actually? Why did that?
It used to be played in Burning Abyss, actually. I kind of figured you would know that.
I know that. I played it, but... Why ultimate rare?
It was one of the best.
That would have been a good super.
It was one of the best generic rank 3s, and I'm glad it's an ultimate rare. Are you kidding? Look at this.
Yeah,
how
dude,
pretty that is.
I got to spend,
look at the whales.
I spent $15 on you when I could have spent $3.
This is my Christmas gift.
My birthday.
2 Area Boros. This is the one for Green Layer. Its effect that can become a quick effect if it has Green Layer is it Book of Moon's a monster, which is actually really good if it wasn't for Link monsters, but it's still really good. And then we have 2 Magnaliger, which is the one for Red Layer. His effect / quick effect is he can pop a monster. So all the Mech Beasts have really good interruption, and when White Layer comes out with his Exceed monster, he's just a Veiler. Like, even if you can't make Magnus, if you can end on 2 or 3 Mech Beasts, you're still pretty good. And then, of course, best card, my favorite card in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! 2 Super Quantal Mech King Great Magnus. This card is the nuts. I do play 2 of all the Quant Exceed monsters because I can make 2 of all the Quant Exceed monsters because the field spell lets you use them in the graveyard. This card's insane. This card is almost impossible to out. So he gains effects based on the number of materials he has attached to him with different names. If you're summoning him the classic way, using 3 pilots, using the field spell 3 times, he's going to have 6, so you'll get all 3 of his effects.
Are you telling me you never summon 3 level 12 monsters? Connor, by the end of the year, you're going to summon 3 gods, and then you're going to overlay for this.
Challenge accepted. Expect that deck profile in the future. Anyways.
January 2020.
Needle Fiber has finally been released. So his effects are as follows. If he has 2 or more materials, he has a quick effect that just lets you spin a card on the field back to the deck. Doesn't target. It's just instant removal. It's amazing. 4 or more, he is unaffected by all card effects that aren't super quant cards, making him even harder to kill. And 6 or more, your opponent cannot add cards from the deck to the hand by card effects.
Colossus.
Okay, but Colossus lets your opponent draw. This doesn't let your opponent draw. The only cards they get from deck to hand is their draw phase.
Time seal.
That's that's insane. Also, though, if he's sent to the graveyard by any means, you get to summon back all 3 of the mech beasts.
Wish we could see it. Camera.
You get to summon back all of them, and then you can just make them again. So even if your opponent kaiju's this, you're going plus, what would that be, 4? Because your opponent's losing 1 card.
3. Because you're summoning 3 pieces, and then it's 1 card, get rid of the Magnus. So you're
well, no, because you're getting 3 more cards on field, and your opponent's losing 1 card in hand.
Oh, well then...
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So if your opponent kaiju's this plus 4, I don't have the side deck built for this right now, but I do play the anti-kaiju.
You also play Witch's Strike, so take it with a grain of salt.
No, I took the Witch Strikes out. I do play Mask of Restrict, though. Alright, last Exceed monster is one number 20. Yeah, exactly. 1 number 27 Dreadnought Dreadnoid. If you're going second, you can just use this to cheese out Great Magnus. I used to play Bamboozling Gossip Shadow for the extra cheese, but I just don't really have the space for it, nor do I ever resolve that.
Did you run that 1 rank 10 train that burns for 2k?
No, because you want to summon Magnus.
But what if you're out of Magnus? What if you're going into top tier play with Quantums? And you get...
At that point, I'm just proud of myself for making it that far.
You get cherries game 1.
We all know what this one does. End of battle, blah, blah, blah. Summon a rank 10 or higher Machine Exceed monster using him. Make Magnus. He probably has 2 materials. He now has the spin effect.
Yay.
For fusions, we have 2. We have Seraphonite, because Brilliant Fusion, and we have Raijin for Instant Fusion. And you want to play a level 5 target, in my opinion, to make Magnaliger easier, because he's the hardest one to make.
Can you summon Seraphonite? I'm not recording this shit again, Connor.
Okay. Alright, and we're back. TLDR, 7th cold open. Bryce ran out of room. 2 Saryuja, because it's Saryuja. You need the extra summon boys. 2, you want to fix your hand. Maybe you get Volcanic Shell, some extra pieces. Make Magnus, it's great. 1 Alistair, all of the quantum cards are different attributes and different types, so you can make this thing super easy. You can also use this if you want to play the Spellbook and Knowledge Engine, because Green Layer is a spellcaster. Yada, yada, yada. Link Kribo, because Rabbit.
Yay.
Yay! Alright, there's the profile. Like, share, subscribe, comment.
Memes.